Now we know that Renner is in a dark, sunken place. In order to justify Jenkins calling Sutton, "See you next Tuesday," Brenner said that's what she calls herself. Welcome to Cliff Alerts. Today I will be reviewing The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Reunion Part 2. The episode began with Garcelle telling Jenkins that she wants her to stop trolling and harassing her online. Jenkins responded that Garcelle called her evil, and Garcelle said that she only called her evil based on what she said to Sutton, which was "See you next Tuesday." And Jenkins believed that being called evil is worse than being called a "see you next Tuesday." And in order to support that, Renner said she calls herself "See you next Tuesday." Jenkins' defenders agreed that being called evil was just too much for their sensibility. Andy asked Sutton whether she wanted to say anything to Jenkins as she was there, and Sutton said that no, she was good with their non-relationship. It's a good place for her mental health. After she said that, Jenkins was still salty regarding Garcelle's response, and her comeback was related to Garcelle and not what Sutton said. And Garcelle piped up and said, "You see what I mean?" He's responding to a question Sutton gave by talking about her. And clearly, Jenkins has a problem with Garcelle, and I think based on her response to a content creator online, we may finally acknowledge what it actually is. We see them break for lunch. Carl and Dorit were in the room talking about Crystal and how she took everyone around a merry-go-round to answer the question about Sutton saying something dark. And Carl had the nerve to say that's why you should not lie because you may not remember what you had said. This is coming out of Carl's mouth. No self-awareness whatsoever. Sutton told Garcelle that she did well in support of her son. Garcelle said that she knows Sutton is not racist, and Sutton said she's relieved that everything finally came out and it was discussed. We then go to Erica and Renner, and they're talking about what Garcelle told Jenkins, that she believed that one of them sent the bot to her son. And Renner implied that the bot was created in an effort to plant a seed of mistrust among the ladies. Well, that seed has been planted years ago. Now we have an oak tree in the middle of the studio. They're the ones who actively attack their colleagues on this show, and it never occurs to them they have done some foul mess. And at this point, clearly they have made their choice. That's why Renner indicated that she is in a sunken place. Andy opened the discussion to Carl about the rumor that Mauricio is cheating with Dorit, and that Mauricio has a weird relationship with Dorit's husband, PK. They showed us a moment between Mauricio, PK, and Dorit. I believe it was after the robbery that Mauricio came in and they all hugged on each other, and then Dorit strangely kissed Mauricio on his shoulder. Now, I would feel a kind of way if I saw that go down, and I would clearly have a conversation with my friend if my friend did that. They talked about the success Garcelle is experiencing, the success of her book, it went on the bestsellers list. She was able to finally buy a Birkin, and she purchased and is now renovating a beach house. And I'm really happy for the sister. That's fantastic to see what is going on in her life and the energy that she's bringing forward. We all can learn something from that. So the topic eventually rolled to Garcelle's book, and they showed the sequence of someone putting Garcelle's book in the trash. Rena admitted that she's the one who put it in the trash and that Erica took the hit for her. Now, I saw Erica on one of these online entertainment news channels, and she was talking about why she put the book in the trash. So she has basically been lying to people for over a year. No one checked the deceitful play that both Rena and Erica did to the public, and I believe her other girls were in on it. She said she did it because Garcelle put her daughter's name in the book, when Garcelle explained that she was just describing an incident that occurred on camera between Rena and Garcelle. They were talking about body imaging and how it may or may not affect Rena's daughters. So Rena's attorney called Garcelle's manager, and I guess he threatened to sue, and Garcelle removed Rena's daughter's name and that entire incident out of the second printing of the book, as well as remove it from the audio edition. She must have done that from the kindness of her own heart, because that whole incident was captured on camera. So at no time does Rena have any legal remedy to stand on to sue Garcelle for her including that whole situation in the book. So again, Garcelle did this out of the kindness of her heart, and she said she heard that the Mean Girls have a group text and they were sniggering about it, that she had to remove Rena's daughter's name from the book. Garcelle, girl, you do you. Good always follows good. At the end of that sequence, it seemed like both Rena and Erica were joyful. SZN apologized to Dorit for her flippant response when she heard that Dorit's home was robbed and the burglars held a gun to her head. SZN said that it's the worst thing she's ever said and she has to live with that. She apologized to Dorit, and it seems like Dorit accepted her apology. Erica was asked why she believes that SZN is a liability to Garcelle. Garcelle said, listen, she's just trying to be a friend, and friends defend each other, and it's basically the same thing that the Mean Girls do on a higher, more pervasive, more destructive, is on a next level. When asked whether Garcelle feels that SZN can be self-absorbed and it's all about her, Garcelle said, well, sometimes it is, but a friend should be able to read each other, and I didn't see any unkindness or any sort of venom with that exchange. We are who we are. We're not perfect people, and in a friendship, a healthy friendship, you should be able to take criticism from a friend who is extending it in love, and not say something to you in a vicious way just to do damage. Paul was asked why she was so physical with SZN, And Carl said, of course, blame it on the alcohol. It was all the tequila she had. And she apologized for behaving like that to Sutton the next day. But it was just surprising to see her pushing Sutton around, and Sutton don't look like she could take a good tap. She looks very thin, and sometimes she looks frail. I'm not sure what Carl manhandling Sutton in defense of Jenkins was all about, but it's mean girl protocol. After Erica implied that Sutton is a liability for Garcelle, Crystal spoke up and said, well, it's the same thing they do in such a destructive way. And once Crystal said it, there was crickets. Nobody was speaking. They all were looking at each other like the air was sucked out of the room. And it seemed to me it was like the first time they understood that they are a group of women that are so toxic and who do so much damage on that show. Maybe they are understanding for the first time that their behavior is toxic, is vile, it's repulsive, and it is evil. Sutton was asked when she will understand that Renner does not like her. Sutton acknowledged it, and she said too, it's a head scratcher for her that Renner seems like she hates her. And that's absolutely right. Of course, Renner pretends, oh, I don't hate anyone, but they showed clips of how Renner spoke to Sutton for the entire season. Sutton said that she felt beaten up after the series, and that she believes that Renner owes her an apology because she thinks Renner's behavior is a pattern of toxic behavior that she kept spewing out towards her and only towards her during the entire season. She behaved horribly towards Sutton, and now she's saying that she never intended that to happen. She was in a bad space because of the death of her mother. But how many of us, when our people pass, we don't behave in such a despicable way as Renner has shown herself on the show? So that's an excuse. Someone that you love passing doesn't indicate that you gotta act up. Your acting up is a choice, but Renner chose to respond the way she did. That's the whole point. How we respond. We got a choice. Everybody got a choice. Sutton said after she was done that she no longer considers Renner a friend, and she said that Renner needs to apologize to her. Renner hesitated, but then she apologized to Sutton, acknowledging her wrongdoing. Again, she stated that she does not hate Sutton. The ladies on the cast are putting their nose in the ish that they have been putting out, and it seems, with the exception of Erica, who has a flippant response to anything that makes her accountable, how foul their behaviors have been throughout the entire season. The funniest response in my mind was when Garcelle was asked about her developing friendship with Lisa Vanderpump. Garcelle said she met Lisa for the first time when Lisa hosted an event benefiting Haiti. She went to it, she met Lisa, and while they were chatting it up, she asked Lisa about any opportunities for her son Oliver to work for her, and they started to develop a relationship from then. Garcelle said that she saw Lisa recently, and it was revealed that both of them were filming. I don't know if it was for Vanderpump Rules. It probably was. And Renner seemed a little bit salty about that. Don't know why. She and Garcelle clearly are not friends, or she's not a friend to Garcelle, so all bets are off. Renner's enemies are Renner's enemies. Garcelle has nothing to do with that. So why should she turn down any opportunity she has? Extend a hand of friendship to Lisa Vanderpump, who has not done anything even close to the vileness that Renner has been perpetrating for years. They started to talk to Renner about her mom passing, and while I understand how traumatic and devastating it is to lose your mom, I was a little bit cynical about watching Renner and her no tears sorrow on screen. Um, it's sort of fascinating to me to watch someone cry without tears, but that's all I'm gonna say about that. Andy brought up Renner's social media behavior and that he said it was trash. Well, I said it was trash, and her behavior is a disaster. That's what he said, not my words. She said, yeah, she has some impulse issues, and again, she knows the right thing to do, but she doesn't do it. She thinks it's okay. We found out that Andy and her has had several conversations about her tragic online media behavior, but she doesn't listen. She does her own thing. He brought up one point specifically when she talked about the producers of the show, and she said that she was just trying to get it out, and he said, well, perhaps you could have just gone to the producer and had a conversation with them rather than posting the stuff online. And one viewer wrote in and said that she needs to be put on pause because of her microaggressions and racist undertones that she just spews out. And it seemed like she was happy about that. She said, oh yeah, put me on pause. Put me on pause. And I hope Andy was listening. If you have an employee that's behaving foul, you've had a conversation with them multiple times, but they bring up excuses, and now they're saying in a group that, hey, it is what it is. I could do what I want. At some point, you got to understand that the employee's behavior is insubordinate and that you need to cut them to the quick. So she's saying that, hey, put me on pause. It's just telling you that she's good with it. Put her on pause. Be it temporarily, be it permanently. My preference would be permanently. Put her ass on pause in a real and meaningful way, and then ask the Bravo fans whether they're in support of that or not. Them booing her at BravoCon is an indication of where most people are. They're exhausted. Fun left the building a long time ago. You see Kathy showing up in a muumuu and her house slippers because she could roll like that. And everyone is just stressing out because Kathy is coming. Garcelle, Crystal, and Sutton wants to take a drink. Renner is walking around saying affirmations. Carl clearly is on edge because she knows her sister is getting ready to light her ass up. So that's all I have. Next week we're going to see how it lays itself out. Thanks for hanging in there with me. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please send me a comments about what you think, or if I said anything that you find interesting or wasn't accurate, let me know. And I'll see you guys next week. Blessings always. Make the right choice.